SEO within mobile and websites, which we haven't touched yet. Any views on that from the panel? Yeah, mobile's going away. Don't worry about it.
Throw away your phones.
Definitely speed. That's one of the things that I've worked on in the past is reimagining this Toyota.com, and there'll be a checker for speed every single time. So you're trying to create content to express this storyline. You're trying to solve that person's search query, right, or interest. A lot of times, some of the images or videos are too heavy, so you do have to work on the speed of the page and the load time. I think that's the most important factor when you're trying to build a mobile website. You're still trying to answer that question, and that's why you're trying to figure out which type of media format, whether it's video, images, text, information, could better express your answer to that person's interest. And a lot of times, some marketers try to build all three formats to build this full story and how to basically answer your question. But a lot of times, you can actually solve that with either text, images, or a simple video. And if you try to build too much or add too much, a lot of times when you're trying to build that on the desktop and build elongated pages, which doesn't really work on mobile, it becomes too heavy, you're losing that user experience, and then your SEO drops.
Any other comments on mobile?
So when you think about mobile, you'll hear a lot of things like, should I do responsive or should I do dynamic survey? Or should I have an MDOT site? So those three things, responsive is basically when you take your code, you have one set of code, and it just squeezes down to a mobile frame. The code understands how to readjust itself. Then you have dynamic serving, where you basically have two different code bases. You basically have your desktop site and your mobile site. You can have completely different experiences on it. And then you have your MDOT, which is more like dynamic. You can have two different experiences, but basically you're telling Google that my site, example.com, is here, and then I have m.example.com over here as my mobile site. You largely don't want to do MDOT. You basically want to use the same URL for both mobile and for desktop. Currently, when you think about the Google algorithm, it indexes all the content off your desktop, and then it sends it to your mobile. So it tries to map the URLs over from desktop to MDOT, but it'll do its best job. If you use the same URLs, it won't be confused. The other thing is that you need to know is that although Google recommends responsive, it's not necessarily right for everybody. So for instance, Edmunds, we help people buy, and we help people buy cars, right? When you're on our site, you're doing the research, you're looking at reviews, you have the whole wide screen that you can work with. When you're on your mobile device, the mobile experience and the mobile use case is completely different. I'm at the lot. I want to know if this is a good deal or not. If I send you all this other content, you're just going to go, this is completely useless. So for us, we actually do dynamic serving. We actually just show the stuff that we know for that mobile use case, what they want. Now Google gets a little confused sometimes, but they're still largely ranking us, that URL, for our desktop content. So we just make sure that in that mobile moment that we still are serving up relevant content for that particular user query. So if someone's searching for a 2015 Honda Accord, we likely assume that they're at the lot. So instead, we reorder the page so that they get the content that they need while they need it. And then we put the other stuff in a place where they can still access it. The other thing you need to know is also that mobile apps, everybody knows mobile apps is the thing to go. Google's now integrating the ability for you, when you're on Google search results on the mobile web, they'll tell the user, open this web page up in the app. And there's ways to mark it up, and you'll have to talk to the developer because it's actually quite complicated. But if you have an Android app or you have an iOS app, you can basically drive people from a Google web result on mobile directly into your app, where you probably have a more rich experience. And that's something that you probably would want to do.
I think about format. There's a lot of debate about what format you should choose. I certainly agree with Eric in saying that MDOT is probably not the way to go. It really just depends on the type of experience you want to deliver. But that's just the thing. I mean, as long as you're delivering an experience that's appropriate to the device, so a mobile device, a mobile phone, smartphone, tablet, whatever, that is the thing that is most favorable to Google. And the reason why I bring that up is because there are more searches now, as of what, like 2 or 3 months ago, something like that. Mobile search surpassed desktop search for the first time ever, and it's going to continue widening that gap. So more people are trying to access information online on the go or on their mobile phones than they are what we would traditionally think on a desktop computer. So I mean, for those of us, even for those of us who have mobile sites, right? Think about that and try to cater to that particular experience and let that guide your decision in terms of what format you choose.
So good. You got something to add, Adam?
Yeah, I was just going to reiterate, because this is an important point. I think you need to put a lot of focus on mobile. It's where everything's moving. I think all of our sites are seeing that shift, massive shift there, and I know a lot of people are a little hesitant. It doesn't monetize as well, right? But it's still like you need to put the focus in that. Even if you have an app, that's great. You can do so much more in an app, and it's awesome. But for people to find you need to have a good mobile website.
Okay, beautiful. Hey, do you want to add one extra point?
Something that's not exactly SEO specific, but the thing around the emphasis around mobile is that it's probably not something that you'd use as an SMB if you only have one physical location, but if you're thinking about scale, there are services out there like Amazon Cognito that allow you to tie your mobile users to your desktop users. So you can unify that person, so you can understand the history and the lifetime, the customer journey of that user as they've gone from each device or through each of your different sites to application to desktop. And this will allow you to construct the messaging that you need at the moment that you need, because mobile is all about those micro moments where you need to capitalize on that thing that they want to do at that moment, because they're not going to spend the time to seek it out. And so if you understand where they've been, you know how to craft that message accordingly.